Joining me today is a special guest from the University of St. Thomas men's hockey team, Ryan O'Neill. Man, welcome in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's I was talking to you about this earlier. The season creeped up on me, and it's a short off season, I feel, and I'm glad we were able to get you on here so quickly.
hmm
You guys just started your season. First game was a home game that's against St. Cloud State. It was a tough 1-0 low scoring affair. Talk to me about the opening game a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of just like a typical opening game. I felt like nothing really, like we couldn't really sustain anything. It was kind of like a lot of one and done chances.
Hmm.
Our goalie played really well. Our defense played really well. Just overall, I feel like it was kind of choppy at times. Like we weren't executing. Um, but it was the first game of the year, so like you kind of expect that to happen.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, just getting better each week. I think get that one out of the way. It was nice.
yeah, yeah. I was fortunate enough to tune in on like Fox 9 Plus and watch it, and it was a good game. Like, I know I felt like you guys started out a little slow, but and then of course you let up the one goal, but then I felt like in the second and third period, if anything, I would say you guys were the better team. But that's just the way it is.
Mhm.
Both it was really good defensive and goaltending game. But what could you do? Couldn't get pucks into the net.
Yeah.
Um, well, okay, so an okay way to start. A loss is a loss, but yeah, you guys
hmm
are going to bounce back. I know you guys got Vermont at home this weekend. But I want to talk a little bit about you, Ryan. Well, talk to me about your recruiting process in high school. I know you played hockey at St. Thomas Academy. I'm actually a little curious for myself. Like, this isn't for the content purposes of it. I'm truly interested about recruiting process in hockey because when I think of like high school hockey players in Minnesota, like I know it's easy to access like where players are committed to, but I feel like I
hmm
never really see anything out there about like, oh, which players have like what offers. So seriously, like talk to me about the recruiting process and kind of how that looked like for you and maybe in general for high school hockey in Minnesota.
Well, for hockey in general, it is a little different versus other sports where like you don't necessarily publicize like offers and stuff like that. I don't know if every sport does it, but at least like some high school like football or stuff, they publicize it. But
Mhm.
mainly for hockey, it's just like when you commit, that's kind of when you post about it.
Okay.
But as for me in high school, I actually wasn't really recruited to any colleges in high school. I had a couple teammates that were though, and then for me, it was more getting looks to get junior hockey teams because
Okay.
that's I feel like at least recently, like that's kind of where colleges have been recruiting, just kind of getting a little bit more of the older guys. There's always like especially in Minnesota, like the top end guys they're getting recruited early, to, like the big schools, but
Yeah.
um, I feel like junior hockey is where most guys end up getting their offers for college.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I seriously didn't know that. I
Mm,
feel like with like my high school hockey knowledge, like again, I would say a lot of the big time athletes, get recruited to the Gophers or the Bulldogs up in UMD or Mankato, but um, I would never really like be able to see like, oh, like did that, like like what was it before their commitment?
uh-huh.
Because where did you go play juniors?
I played 3 years in St. Cloud in the North American League.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mm.
See, I feel like is it pretty common for players to go to the USHL, right? I feel like I'm always seeing guys either, especially around here, like they're going up to Fargo or
hmm
like Chicago. I want to say maybe Des Moines is. I don't know if there's a junior
Yeah,
team
there's
there.
yeah, they're all in like kind of like the Iowas and the Dakotas kind of places where like hockey can be like the main thing. But yeah, I'd say the USHL is definitely like the best league for college, but
Hmm.
it's a tougher league than most because they have a select amount of teams. Where like the league I played in had 30 teams, and the
Okay.
USHL has like 16. So it's tough to make, and they also have like rules on ages. Like they don't like for me like my last year of junior, I turned 21, and then in the USHL, they can only have like one or two of those guys.
Hmm.
So it's pretty rare it's more of a younger league, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
that's
no, it
kind of
does.
what And I was more of a later development, so I kind of I used up my time in the null, as they
Yeah.
say.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, I know you played at St. Thomas Academy. Did you play all four? Did you play 4 years of high school hockey there?
I played three, started with my
3.
sophomore year.
Okay. Now I know STA is a kind of a powerhouse. At least when I was in high school, and we're
Mhm.
similar to age. I'm sure you played at the state tournament, right, for STA. Did you play all 3 years?
Yeah, I was pretty lucky with three good teams, and I got to go three times.
Now talk to me about that experience, because I personally, I'm a little biased because I'm from Minnesota, but I think it's
Mhm.
the biggest high school state tournament like in the country. I know people say there's like Texas high school football, which is really
Yeah,
big, or like Indiana high school basketball, but for Minnesota, it's high school hockey, and especially being a part of the AA division, you're playing against or in front of thousands of fans
hmm
from your school and from the opponent's school, and then just tons of other hockey fans. Talk to me about that experience.
yeah. It was pretty special. Like growing up in Minnesota, especially guys, like that's kind of like what you dream about playing in that, um, playing in that tournament. And then when I finally got to high school, like going to St. Thomas was definitely a realistic goal for us. And my sophomore year was kind of just about taking in the experience. I wasn't playing too much, but I was just obviously grateful to be there and just
Mm,
seeing, yeah, like you said, 18,000 fans. It's definitely not like playing at SDIA and just in front of a couple hundred. So that was definitely a bit of a shock seeing that many fans and eyes on you. But
yeah.
I feel like that first year definitely helped with the next two experiences just to be more comfortable in that atmosphere. And for myself, I obviously grew as a player, so that helped. But being with your buddies and playing in front of your buddies too, like at your school, having student sections.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's pretty special.
No, I've had. I mean, like you said, I feel like it's a dream that every youth hockey player, both boys and girls, have
Hmm
in the state of Minnesota. And I think it's interesting that you said, like the first year kind of prepared you, and you get better like your second and third year, because I know not just the atmosphere, but I've heard in many cases, like I mean, it's different play style. Like the ice is different, right? And like the boards aren't it doesn't the puck doesn't it bounce off the boards a little bit more than like your average like high school rink, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just like so much smoother and like hitting off the glass, like it's even that is different. Like it's you rim a puck around the yellow and that goes a lot farther than it would in like the rink that we play at.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it definitely is a lot different.
Yeah. Would you say it helped you prepare for last season playing at the X against the Gophers? Because, St. Thomas, it was kind of the first big time playing the Gophers. I know you guys play them again this year. So having that experience, although it was a few years back, having that experience in high school playing at the X, did that help you prepare for the Gophers when you played them last year, and then even heading into this next few weeks against them?
I would say that the biggest thing would help me is just being comfortable playing in front of like that atmosphere and crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because for our college games, we don't necessarily it's kind of like my high school experience. Like we still get fans and stuff, but it's definitely a whole nother level when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say that was probably the biggest thing that it helped with.
Yeah. Yeah, I know playing at the St. Thomas Ice Arena. I mean, that's where St. Thomas Academy plays as well. And
Hmm
I mean, it really is like a high school arena.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm sure you're excited though, because is it next year that the new arena gets put up?
Yep. Yeah, they've actually made some pretty good progress. So I think next year will be the debut. Pretty
Okay.
excited.
That's sweet. I haven't made it down to campus in a while. I moved up to Albertville, if you know where that is.
Hmm
So I'm far away from the cities now, but I know there was like protests with it, but I
hmm
heard that kind of got cleared away, and sounds like they're making good progress on it. If anything, I really wanted to get like season tickets. I know like that's kind of been a big push, but
hmm
unfortunately, like being like a sports broadcaster, most of like the games that you get. Like I know because college usually it's like weekends, which I get, but I
Hmm.
spent so much time on the weekends having to broadcast hockey, like high school hockey, and
Yeah, I'm sure.
so it would be tough to get season tickets too. But maybe one day it'd be sweet to be a part and get to go to that arena every day or every week.
Yeah.
Um, well, talk to me now. I'm curious to go a little bit more in depth with like the Gopher experience last year. I know you guys played them once at Mariucci, once at the X. I was there for the game at the X, and it was like a delightful surprise. I feel like that. I'm sure you remember it well. It's a game that was like kind of like heartbreaking in some way, but also like I think you should really be proud of the outcome. I know like the Gophers, I think were like number one or number two in the country, and St. Thomas was at least I don't think nowhere near the top 20 for rankings, and for you guys to take them to overtime. And at one point, you guys had a pretty significant lead. Um, talk to me about that experience, and then what you're going to try to do moving forward for going up against them in the next few weeks here.
Yeah, that was obviously a really really cool experience. For us, we kind of felt like we were going to be competitive. Obviously, they we knew how good they were. They so many NHL draft picks and stuff, but we'd played St. Cloud State the weekend before, and they were a really good team,
Mm-hmm.
and we split with them, so that gave us a lot of confidence going into that weekend. And then, yeah, we had a lot of belief in our team. We felt that we could be right there with them. And like you said, we were for a little bit, and then they kind of pulled away. But I think that definitely fuels us a little bit for this year. We have a majority of the guys coming back this year, so I think we're just as, or if not more confident, that we can not only keep up with them, but also just dominate play on our side as well.
Yeah. I think it helps that you guys have a lot of chemistry. For a school like the Gophers, I kind of look at them as almost like the Duke of like college hockey versus like college basketball, where it's like, okay, they kind of, they get all these big recruits and these guys are going to go to the NHL in a year or two. But I think that makes it where it's difficult sometimes to form that chemistry because, lines are probably changing every year and, so many guys flushing in and out of the team. And versus you guys, I mean, I know you guys have NHL draft picks on the team, but, nowhere near as many as the Gophers right now. But I think the chemistry really helps. And I hope I'm wishing you guys luck. I think I'm going to try to go to the one at the X.
Mhm.
It should be really fun. I'm looking forward to that
Yeah,
one.
no, that'll be fun. Like you said, I think one thing that gives us that advantage is our culture inside. Like nobody really cares about who scores and who's getting points and stuff like that. So I think that's one advantage that we might have. Maybe having a couple less guaranteed NHLers on our roster, but yeah, like you said, I think that definitely plays a role in the chemistry that we have as a group.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really good that you guys are playing like a non-selfish. I feel like it would be, especially for me, like I'm like whenever I play video games, whether it's Chell or College Football 25 or NBA 2K, like I like to kind of rack up the stats a little bit. So I feel like if I were to be playing on a team, I'd be like not being aware of it, but like I'd be
Yeah.
like not consciously thinking like I'd be the one who wants to score. Or like
Mhm.
I'd be that guy, like if I got like a secondhand assist and they like didn't give it to me, I'd be the one who'd be like, nah, like
Yeah,
I
try.
I should be on the stat sheet. But I think it's really good and that's the way it should be, right? I
Hmm.
think it's healthy that you guys are playing unselfishly. Um Well, speaking about the team as a whole, I'm curious, what are St. Thomas's goals? And maybe we can discuss a little bit about your personal goals as well. But what would you say like the end goal is for St. Thomas this season, whether it's winning the CCHA or finishing on top? I'm a little uncertain if you can now. Can you guys make the playoffs, or is that little stupid NCAA rule still in effect?
Yeah, that rule is still in effect, unfortunately.
I
So
think
yeah, it's pretty frustrating. because we definitely feel like our goal is to win the CCHA, and we feel like we're confident in that. So we definitely wish that we had a crack at the tournament, but
Yeah.
what can you do?
I think personally, like I can speak on this a little bit harshly just because I am who I am, but I personally think it's a ridiculous thing. I'm like, if for whatever team, if it's men's hockey, or I know like the football team a couple years ago won their conference, or like the baseball team, I know they won the Summit League this past season, and it's like, you know, if you win it, it doesn't matter if you were D2 or D3 just a few years ago. Like, if anything, you're at a disadvantage compared to these teams. And, if you beat them fair and square, it's like you should be admitted to the playoffs. I think it's kind of ridiculous. And I feel like it'd be a little frustrating. Like, I know you guys fell short last year, but like if you guys were to go into this year and winning the conference, I think it'd be a little frustrating, I would guess. If it's like, okay, you did what they asked you to do so far, and then it can't be rewarded with the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating. Like I really don't get it either. Like kind of like you said, I feel like it's honestly more of a disadvantage, coming from Division 3 to Division 1. And I like if you earn it, you earn it. And if you don't, you don't. I feel like that should be the motto. But
right,
I guess that's why I'm not a part of the committee or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm sure the committee has some rule or some protocol that says not to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I personally think it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. But okay, so would a goal be? I mean, yes, like a goal would be to win the conference. I mean, you can't really make the playoffs, but I mean, and then do you have any personal goals, whether it's like scoring so many goals or assists this season, or anything you're trying to work on and get better at?
Yeah, I try not to like focus on numbers in specific with goals and assists. I think that just working on getting better like that stuff will come with it, along with team success. That usually leads to individuals having success as well. That's one thing that our coach stresses a lot. So I think just focusing on that and just enjoying the process and trying to get faster, stronger, and bigger. And I feel like that's kind of what everyone says, but it's pretty true.
Yeah.
So just staying consistent. I'd say that's the biggest thing with my game, is being consistent with it.
Now you say get like faster and bigger. I mean, I feel like it's easier said than done. Like, do they have you guys on like special diets? Like, I know you guys are working out, and I'm sure you're in like a weightlifting exercise program, I'm sure. But like, are they like strict with like what you can eat? Because I know like some of the big boy, like I guess it'd be like common for like football. All the big football schools, I'm sure, have their players on specific diets. But for hockey, I feel like it maybe be a little bit different. But since you guys are kind of up there with the bigger programs, I would say, like, are they having you do certain things for that?
Like we do have a nutritionist, and that she gives us a lot of like insight, and she kind of out gives us like a guideline, I'd say, of what to do and like what based on what your goals are. But it's kind of up to the individual to like for me, if you're trying to gain weight, like you got to eat, and you got to eat right. So it's kind of dependent on the person, but we don't necessarily have a specific plan set up for each individual.
Okay.
You can obviously go talk like with we have a nutritionist that you can talk to, and they'll definitely help you. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's kind of up to the individual.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's your body, your choice. oh God. Yeah, I totally get it. I was just curious because I had like some buddies when I was still in school who like played football or played basketball, and I'm not going to be exposing anyone, but like I would see them eat McDonald's or Wendy's or Taco Bell, and even if it was the off season, I'm like, should you really be eating this? Like, you're a Division I athlete, and I mean, I'm also someone like, if it's in moderation, it's not going to kill you. But I just wasn't sure like how strict they were, especially like maybe they were freshmen, so they can get away with it if they're not really playing. But especially someone like you, where you're playing consistently every night. I wasn't sure how that was. So I would ask then, like, do you really try to make an effort then, and like, trying to not only eat more to get stronger, but then to also try to eat clean as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a struggle is trying to combine those two.
Yeah.
But I feel like our household in general, like our team actually as a whole, does do a pretty good job of trying to eat well. In my
Mhm.
house specifically, I live with some good cooks, so that helps a lot. Um, and being from Minnesota, I got my parents just about 15-20 minutes away, so
Oh yeah.
whenever I need some help, they're quick to provide some assistance too.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up in St. Paul, and it was nice being near my mom in case if I really needed something. Even though, like, a lot of times when I lived at home for a little while, like, I would eat there, and then when I lived on campus, like, a lot of times I did try to take advantage of just eating at the dining hall because it was just like
Hmm.
included. But I definitely would try to treat myself as well. I like to eat, and um, sometimes eating at home, would be boring. But I think it's good if you
Yeah,
got teammates who are good cooks. Now, who do you live with?
I live with so our captain Lucas Wallen,
Okay,
Luke Leyland, Carson Peters, and then Quentin Pepper.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Quentin.
I know Quentin. Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I think literally the only guys I know personally are you. Well, now Luke is on the bigger and better things, but Luke Manning,
Hmm.
and then Quentin. So okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty. That sounds like a pretty fun house. What? I'm not trying to post your address or anything, but like what region of like the the St. Paul area uh,
So
are you
we're
at?
on Cretan, like the corner of the football field, if you know where that is.
Oh yeah, and one of those big houses.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I mean, we do have five of us, so like we need a little bit of space.
Corner Green by the football field. I'm trying to think.
It's kind of by
Is
like
this is not
that
by
gas
Summit?
station, like
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was
like
thinking.
across from the Black Waffle House, a little bit,
Yeah,
but farther down. Farther down.
are you guys the house with the big Harrison Walls sign on it?
We're the one with the Trump and Trump sign on it. I don't know
Oh,
if you see our banner. We actually have a pretty good banner on the side of our
oh.
house, but
No, I haven't seen it. I was just wondering. Sometimes when I make my way down to St. Paul, there's a house that's on Cretan that's across from Black Waffle House or Black Coffee Waffle House, whatever it's called.
mhm.
And they have like a ton of Harrison Wall shit, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I've
okay.
seen
So I was gonna give you shit. I didn't really think
that.
that was gonna be you. Okay, so
Yeah,
I'll,
you'll have to check out ours. We get a lot of looks when people walk past our house for sure, especially in
oh,
St. Paul.
oh gosh, I don't want to get. This is not a political podcast. Like I really stay away from the politics because it's
Yeah,
like
so do I.
I
So do
yeah I keep it away, but it's definitely in St. Paul. It's a lot of Harrison Walls, and if you're on the other side, I believe you would get those looks.
yeah.
Where I'm from, it's the complete opposite. You're going to see a lot of Trump Vance signs, and then if you have the Harris Walls, I feel like you're more likely to get looks up here. That's
Mhm.
just how it is. But I respect you for stating your opinion and staying strong with that. I love that.
Mhm.
Um, well, okay, so I'm curious. I always love asking athletes this. I'm still waiting for like the kind of big funny story, but like what was your welcome to college moment where it's like, okay, this is not high school, this isn't juniors, like this is Division 1 college hockey and in Minnesota. Like and I've asked this and a lot of people like not to like, be mean, like they kind of give me some dull answers. And that's okay. If someone's listening to
Mhm.
this, I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm kind of waiting for like that big exciting moment. And maybe you don't have that, and that's fine. But I always like to ask.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I remember one like in hockey, like our first game, which was kind of one which it's nothing too exciting because like when I played juniors my last year, I was 21 playing junior hockey, so I was a lot stronger than everybody and
Hmm.
bigger and older. So
Yeah.
like the biggest thing was we played St. Cloud and they had this D man, like his name was like Anhorn. He was just massive. He's
Uh huh.
playing professional now. And he just like rocked me like one of my first shifts, and I was like, yeah, I can't play the way I played in juniors and at this level. So Mine's nothing crazy, but that was when I kind of had to realize like I can't get away with some of the stuff I was doing in juniors and
Yeah.
at college.
No, I love that. You got rocked. I was kind of thinking that. I was like, did you just get like laid out by someone, just some big ass defenseman, or even some forwards? I mean, there's some big kids who play in
Hmm.
college hockey. Who's the biggest guy in the team? Like, just because when I look at you guys, like in the uniforms with all the equipment on, it's kind of it could be kind of tough to tell unless someone's truly
Hmm.
massive. But like who would you say is just like the biggest guy, like just raw?
I mean, so in terms of like strength, like I don't know if you know who Jake Ratzoff is. He won
Okay.
Mr. Football at Rosemount as he was a football player and a hockey player. He used to be
Okay.
committed to the Gophers for hockey. That ended up going to University of Wisconsin for 2 years to play football. It's just a crazy. This guy's a crazy athlete, and
Okay.
this guy in the weight room is insane. Like in practice, he's just one handing, like throwing guys, myself included. It's the guy's the strongest human being I think I've ever seen in a hockey uniform. It's ridiculous.
Jeez. Yeah, there's some pretty strong guys. I mean, when I think of like overall strength, like in sports, like the first sport that comes to mind is football.
Hmm.
But I think when it comes especially to like lower body strength, I mean, hockey players have to have like really strong legs. I'm sure
Hmm.
you're either squatting or doing a lot of leg workouts. But for an athlete, I mean, for him, right, to be like a Power Five football player,
Yeah,
and then going to St. Thomas for hockey, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
yeah, it's pretty unique, and he's like a scratch goal. It's crazy how athletic this guy is.
Oh, I fucking love it. Um, so and then has he laid you out like in practice? Like I don't know how hard you guys go, but like is he like did he ever like lay you out and you're like holy shit?
Yeah, I mean in preseason, like we scrimmage each other, and we're just kind of that's what kind of sucks about preseason is like we have nobody else to go against. We're just kind of going at it with each other.
Yeah.
So definitely, there's times tempers flared a little bit, and he was usually at the forefront of it. But like he's just so much stronger than everybody. Like it's hard not to be for him. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely a couple times.
That's a scary sight, man. I'd be afraid to meet the guy, I'm no small
He's the
guy
nicest
either.
guy off the ice,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you're forechecking and that guy's coming in on you, I'd be scared.
That's how it always seems to be, though. The nicest guys off the field or off the ice, wherever, or they can be the top. Well, now let's get into what a Tommy game day looks for you guys. So walk me through like it's a home game, but then also I would like to hear about like an away game, like when you guys are traveling as well.
Hmm. So yeah, so for home games, kind of just a standard. We go to the rink at like on Fridays. We'll go to the rink at like 10. Um, just do like a quick skate, nothing that like exerting, and
Mm-hmm.
then we usually eat a meal there as a team. So it's kind of the highlight of the day, just knowing that you have the rest of the day, and then go home, take a nap, and then honestly, that part of the day kind of flies by once you go home after the meal,
Oh yeah.
because you just take a nap, honestly, and then right when you wake up, shower, and then we usually head to the rink. At least my house does at like 4:20 for 7 o'clock game.
Mm-hmm.
So that day's kind of that day is pretty chill up until the game, and then Saturday is a little different because we don't skate in the morning. So we usually just get a nice sleep in. We usually still go to the rink, just do like film, I guess, see kind of how the night before went.
Yeah.
Um, and then that day is kind of similar as well, just a lot of hanging out. Most guys take naps. I'd say that's the biggest thing with
Yeah.
hockey players is napping on game day. It's kind of like the main ritual everybody's got. Uh, and then on the roads can vary for sure based on like sometimes we won't like it depends on the ice that we can get from other teams. So like some days
Mm-hmm.
we'll be practicing at like 9 a.m. Some days it's like 11. So it
PM.
definitely varies like for morning skates.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it definitely varies, and that definitely impacts like how the rest of the day goes for the guys because we usually eat right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, into the hotel room bed and try to take a nap, and then it's get ready for the game.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty standard.
So yeah, it's pretty boring, but
I mean, yeah.
just the main thing is getting in the nap.
Well, that is important. You need your sleep and you need your rest. Do you guys have like a go-to like pregame or postgame meal?
Pregame is pretty
Pretty light, I'd imagine.
yeah, like rice, chicken. That's kind of
Yeah.
that's kind of the go-to. And then after Fridays, we get a meal from the team. That's usually you get to choose. So it can be anything from like a burger to like a steak sandwich. And then after the Saturday games at home, if we're winning, my house likes to order a pizza together.
Oh hell
So
yeah.
maybe it's probably not a good one for my coach to hear if he hears this, but we usually we usually like to split a large pizza after the game if we win. If we're not winning, then we probably got to keep it a little healthier.
I mean, I don't really eat pizza, but there could be worse you could be getting.
Yeah, I mean you got to get the calories in. I say that's why we do it. I say
Or do you just do like cheese, or you like pepperoni or sausage, or what do you do?
one of our roommates loves sausage, so we go half and half just for him.
Oh yeah, the sausage.
Yeah.
Love some sausage. Okay. Okay, no, that's pretty cool. Are you like one of those like? Do you have any superstitions when you're on the ice?
On the ice, I'd say. I mean, I do the same. Like most guys do the same warm up, like on the ice,
Mm-hmm.
every day. Like we stand around the circle. We all stand in the same spots. We pass to
Mm-hmm.
the same players. So it was the first game on Sunday, so we're still kind of figuring out where everyone goes and who to pass to. But from the guys last year, we all have our spots. It's more about the new guys finding a spot that works for them.
Yeah. No, I respect it. I wasn't sure if you were like, I want to say in the NHL, was it? I think it was Brad Marchand. Like, wasn't he the guy who always like have to be like the last one to leave the ice?
Yeah, they have some crazy ones in the NHL. Like there's a couple guys that do that, and they'll just like wait for each other. It could be like 20 minutes. It's crazy.
If they're super serious about it, I get it, and I feel like
Mhm.
it could be even a mental thing. Like if it breaks, then
Oh
it could
yeah,
just throw you off.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, I love it. Well, I think that's all I really have for you, man. Thank you, Ryan, again for coming on. Shout out to you and shout out to St. Thomas Men's Hockey, and good luck to you this season.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
yeah.